I've got 20 acres in Gold Creek Lakes, Montana. My name's Miles McLaughlin here at Wilco Land. I'm going to go through a breakdown of this property with you in this video. I'm going to cover a lot of common questions and FAQs. I'm going to talk about things like access, who's the target audience for a property like this, what's a person to do with it, and a little bit more about the history of the property and the market around it. So sit back for a few minutes here. I'll explain my stance on the property. Just starting with a quick disclaimer. This isn't legal advice or real estate advice. I'm simply sharing, my thoughts and opinions through my own due diligence and market experience of this property with you. So just getting started, this is going to be prime hunting habitat, prime fishing, outdoor recreation. So when we talk about the, target audience, first and foremost, when I see a property like this, and we deal with quite a bit of property like this, as a matter of fact, and the first instinct is recreational use, hunting, fishing, backcountry skiing, snowmobiling, camping during the summers, all that good stuff, right? That's why people are buying properties like this. You can put things like forest cabins on them, yurts, teepees, put game cams up, all that good stuff. It's your own private land surrounded by national forest. And I'll talk a little bit more about what that means as a landowner, being surrounded by the national forest. This one specifically is adjacent to Deer Lodge National Forest, and I'll show it to you on a map. Let's get started and look at just a bird's eye view of where this property is at. We're out here in Montana around Phillipsburg is the closest town to this property. So you've got Phillipsburg right here, Georgetown Lake, and this is a really cool mountain range, pretty sought after, area to own land right here. This is Anaconda, Deer Lodge, you've got Helena, Missoula. So you're out here in Western Montana, right? Bird's eye look at the property. The next thing I want to show you is I want to pull it up on Onyx Maps and talk about the location. And I'm going to jump, right into access too. So first and foremost, what we're selling is 20 acres right here. So we actually own the rest of it here, and I think we've sold the majority of it off. This is our last remaining chunk of land up here, and it's going to be 20 acres, right? Imagine the property like this being cut through just like that. So that's 20 acres, and I'll show you what the survey map looks like. So if we zoom in, this was the history here is this was the origin of gold mining in Montana, actually. So you can see on this survey map, there was a strike of lead in the middle of the property, right? They had old cabins up here that people were staying in and all that good stuff, right? So there's a lot of rich history back here. There's old 2 tracks that get to these properties. For this one specifically, jumping back into access, you're going to get off County Road 168. You're going to follow maps. The target audience here understands how to use Onyx Maps, understands how to use mapping programs to go find off-grid land, because that's what you're dealing with ultimately right here. And so, you're going to be coming in through Forest Service up to probably the west side of the property, somewhere off County Road 168, which is, easily traveled. I don't know what the winter access is like in the winter. At 8,000 feet, there's a low likelihood that this road is maintained during the winter. That's something I guess I haven't looked into before making this video, but what we're at, no matter what, you're going to be at 8,000 feet elevation. You're going to have some world-class views from the top of this property. It's going to be a really badass spot for hunting, going on hikes, seasonal recreation, and things like that. So like I said, that this is a property, you're actually up here on this ridge line, and I can zoom around even. You can see part of the property drops in here. So you're going to have some really sweet views from the top of this ridge line. And there's a lot of good flat space all along up here, and views are going to be world-class. Essentially, looking into Gold Creek Lakes in this canyon. And you can see that these are actual photos of the property. We sent a photographer up to all these Gold Creek Lakes properties. We owned, I think, 200 and some acres up here. We sold a lot of it off. And so this is what it actually looks like. Some of these are boiler photos that the previous owner had sent to us, probably more so of the area in general. But this is like what road access looks like on some of those roads up there. Again, a photo of the actual property. This is from the owner, one of the roads, up in that range, and a wildlife sighting on their game cam. So this is what Gold Creek Lakes look like, right? We can look at all these photos. Again, this is what your access roads, this is what the trees and stuff are going to look like. And this gives you a depiction and an idea of what you can expect when you're up here. Obviously, these are challenging properties to access, and it's, it takes the right buyer. And who is that buyer? Jumping back into this property, looking at it here on a map, we can see this 20 acres sits up here on the ridgeline. You're going to have world-class views looking at Gold Creek Lakes right here. And you can see that. One way to access this area is coming in from the north and coming up past Gold Creek Lakes. and accessing it, some way through here, right? You can come like the road, like somebody's developed. If I zoom in, somebody's developed right here and right here. So you can see there's some off-grid cabins. Word on the street is that they flew in some of the material to build that property. The other property I sold back here, I sold 80 acres to a guy. He got an outfitter out of Bozeman or Missoula, I forget, to take on a helicopter tour and go look at the property during the winter, last winter when we sold like an 80-acre chunk to this guy out of the East Coast. And yeah, I mean, he was just looking for a recreational land investment. You can see County Road 168 as I talk about access here to the south of the property. That offers, you're coming right off the property and coming in from the west side. And there's something called the Wilderness Act, right? So Forest Service, you can see that we're surrounded by Forest Service on this property, right? Off County Road 168. You can come up here. There's something called the Wilderness Act, and I'll look it up here. Wilderness Act summary. And essentially, what this says, for landowners, the key takeaway is, hey, the Forest Service is going to work with landowners to acquire reasonable access to their property, right? And so I haven't gone through that process. We're expecting our buyer. If you want to put a driveway into your property or get access to your property, you're going to have to work with Forest Service to put in, a driveway to your land. Like I said, this Wilderness Act, if you just Google it, there's a lot of information in here, saying the Forest Service has to work with landowners. That's what, there's a lot of people that own land surrounded by Forest Service. I'll pull up more of it here on satellite imagery. And you can see, people all over own these chunks of land. Look at this guy. This is a really good example of this property not too far away. This person developed, they're surrounded by Forest Service. This road didn't exist, so they had to work through Forest Service to develop this driveway to their property. It comes in right here, and then they can get up to, there must be some sort of cabin on this property that they have. I think down here in the corner, it looks like they have a cabin. So, people are developing off-grid cabins. Another idea, let me show you something my friends would go here. Challenger, cabin, Flathead National Forest. This is a good example of the type of structures people build. And this is a primitive escape out here in Montana. People are building, these type of Forest Service cabins that don't have any access besides hiking access, snowmobile access, or like maybe an ATV. So when we look at this property, I mean, this is the target audience. If you want an off-grid escape like this in the forest, using the lumber on the property, the only way to access is a snowmobile, is hike-in access, maybe an ATV. That's a really cool recreational property. And there's a huge demand for that out there, for hunting, backcountry skiing, snowmobiling. And just a family who might want to hike up to this property, put some teepees up, put some yurts up, and call it a summer, vacation spot, right? There's fishing at Gold Creek Lakes. There's hiking trails all over that we can look at here on Onyx Maps, so fishing and hiking that we've got. But I just wanted to show you, there's a lot of landowners that deal with being surrounded by Forest Service. So it's not unheard of for you as a property owner to figure that out. Here's another good example of somebody that's got a road into their property. So you can see, scattered about up here in the Forest Service, there are properties that people have developed these roads to get to. And I'll show you another cool example of what somebody did with a property back here. I won't spend all day doing this, but if I sat around on Google Earth long enough, I could show you tons of cool like yurts and tiny homes and off-grid cabins back here. Here's one I identified, and if you really got to play around with it, but there's one down here to the south of the property that is like a backcountry ski cabin right here. Check this thing out. How sweet is this? I mean, what a cool idea. These people are probably hopping on a sled or some sort of snow machine and going backcountry skiing on their property back here. I'm assuming they had to develop some sort of little access driveway through Forest Service to their property too. So I just want to share some examples of how people use these properties and just how cool this is, how special it is. These are pretty rare land investments. And so for those looking to view the property right now, you might find a 2-track. You'll see if you zoom in on Google Earth, you might find a 2-track that gets up to the property. Like, here's a good example of one that you can see that doesn't even show up on Onyx. Here's a pretty cool trail that somebody's driving around this ridgeline. That could shoot you down to the property. See this trail comes in over here. Looks like it comes in off this main road. You really have to understand your maps to know how to get back here. Right. And so I want to talk about access again. So besides snowmobile access, ATV access, hiking access, The long-term solution is to put a driveway in if you really want to get road access up to your property, because you could theoretically take a pickup truck or some sort of SUV off County Road 168 and put a nice driveway in. It wouldn't be that far. I can measure it for you right now. Off County Road 168, if you wanted to get up to your property over here, I mean, 700 yards approximately to get over there, some sort of switchback. It's not unheard of to blade a trail in that's accessible during the summer months. And, keep in mind, this is 8,000 feet elevation. So when we talk about winter usage, you got to be on a sled. You got to be on some sort of snow machine, something with tracks, like a snowcat. They can get you up here for backcountry skiing and things like that. But I mean, this would be a cool bowl to go into, right? And so, right, there's lakes specked all over back here. Not only do you have Gold Creek lakes, but there's meadow lakes back here. There's going to be a ton of high alpine fishing within walking distance, hiking distance of your property that you can go explore all throughout the summer. And there's a lot of hiking trails too. So, let's get back into talking about access. So the key is getting on County Road 168, and you can get back up into this mountain range. If we go up here and we hop back on, I think this is I-90, and you'd go to, this is I-90. So in Gold Creek, you'd come off I-90 in Gold Creek and you'd take Gold Creek Road, basically past Wall City, all the way back into this mountain range. You actually want to stay north. So you take Gold Creek Road and you see it comes up north up here. Then you're going to head into this mountain range, basically. And you're going to be on this road. See how it winds back in to get you in Forest Service? This is that main road, Gold Creek Road, it looks like. Yep. So you stay on Gold Creek Road, goes through Forest Service, and that will take you to basically the mastermind, which is right here. And that mastermind is this big chunk of land right here. And then you can head south. It looks like to Gold Creek. So if you head south from the mastermind, you'd basically go towards Gold Creeks. Then you'd basically have to, hike through Forest Service, a little bit longer and harder route. What I would do is you stay on Gold Creek Road, and you're going to have to come down to this, road down here, Middle Gold Road. I mean, this doesn't even look like a good road to travel, but, maybe a side-by-side, maybe an ATV, but County Road 168 must have another access point, because County Road 168 is really good access. So there's got to be another way to hop on County Road 168 and come in from the south. It looks like you do want to access this County Road 168, maybe from the west side. So yeah, you're going to get in because all these people are using this road. And let's see here. Yeah. I mean, these roads meander back here. So to get to County Road 168, looks like you can come in. There's a road, Middle Gold comes in from the north. Otherwise, you can probably come in from the south somewhere. Let's see where this takes us. So here's County Road 168. It might be better to actually access it down here from the southeast potentially. But, that's probably a video for another day. I mean, it looks pretty gnarly back there, but there's got to be ways to get back onto that road because it's pretty well traveled. So I think probably, there's this Princeton Road here too. So it does look like probably the best access road to get to County Road 168 is from the north up there, coming in from the north and either taking this switchback over. But yeah, you'll see a lot of roads meander back there. So I could do Deer Lodge National Forest, and you can stick around this video if you want. I'm just looking for this access route for those looking back there. You guys can look on Onyx on your own. My computer's running a little slow right now, but for the most part, you understand the property. It's a recreational land investment. It's damn cool. It's pretty damn rare too. You're not going to see a lot of these type of properties. And so, it's not going to be full-time living. You're not going to go up there and live in your house. Maps, I can do County Road 138, but that sums up the video. If you want to stick around and look for this County Road 138, the best access, stick with me. Like I said, my computer's running a little slow, but they'll have maps and things like that. So you can look at that. You can look at all this travel management maps with Forest Service, Deer Lodge National Forest, County Road 1 Phillipsburg. Maybe I'll put it in here and see where that goes. But it's going to take time. Like, buying properties and accessing this, it's just like going on a hunting trip. Like, it takes time to understand your access routes. And we're going to be in one of these districts. Again, I'm not going to take the whole video to talk about this, but, we've summarized the property pretty well. You have an idea of what you're buying. You get an understanding of the area. We looked at it on Google Earth here. We know County Road 168 comes in. If you want to come in from the north, it looks like you can get there from the north. See that? That actually gets you there really well. If we get on Google Earth, this works a lot better. But you would stay on Gold Creek Road, and get over there. I mean, it almost looks like these power lines come through. But here's a mastermind. You'd stay here. This cuts back through. You'd actually go north on the mastermind, and that would kind of taper off, it looks like. But then there's a road down here. See, I mean, it's challenging. It's an adventure to get up there. This road would actually come through. This road comes through these trees. If you see that, I can see like little bits and pieces of it right there. And then you would head into the south, and that would actually bring you to County Road. Well, that would bring you to right here. You'd actually keep going to this one right here. This road will wind all the way around, and that will bring you all the way. See how you can see the outline of the road right here? That will bring you all the way down to here. Shoot, yeah, that'll bring you right here, and that'll get you to County Road 168. So again, we solved the dilemma. You're going to take Gold Creek Road. Just to be clear, up here, this is Gold Creek Road. You're going to go by the mastermind and stuff, right? We talked about that. This is that Gold Creek Road on Onyx Maps coming in from the north. You stay on that after you get off I-90. Instead of heading south to Gold Creek Lakes, you're going to stay on that road. You're going to stay high on that road. You can see that road continues to follow right here. And that road's going to come, you can zigzag through here, and it's going to come down. You can go this route. That's going to bring you basically to hike in right there. You see our property. Or you're going to stay high on this road again, and you're going to come down to this, right here. And that's going to come all the way through. Looks like there's something going on here, but this is going to come all the way through. This road is, and it's going to connect you to County Road 138. So this road will come all the way through. You see that? Now right here is County Road 138, really well maintained actually. So there might be another way to get to County Road 138. These roads almost are better from the west, it looks like. But again, I'm not going to spend this whole video mapping that out. But then this would get us to County Road 138. Then you jaunt up to the property, hike up to the property from there, take an ATV, take a snowmobile, something like that. It's all Forest Service on the way in. So, if you have a better route, let me know. Shoot me a comment, shoot me a text. But this sums up 20 acres in Gold Creek Lakes, Montana pretty well. Thanks for tuning in. If you are interested in other land deals, we do a lot of stuff in Montana, North Idaho, Washington State, Oregon, basically across the Mountain West and across the Midwest too. So take a peek at the website. Let us know what you're interested in. We've got some other stuff out there in Montana, as you can see on the website, Washington, places like that, Colorado, even Alaska, right? So, get with us anytime. You can reach us here at 605-299-5553.